So the first thing you want to do is open up ENPS. I recommend going to Layout, Stored Layout, and opening the Editor layout. It'll just have everything formatted for you better. You really want to pay attention to the source column. You'll see here, this is where producers will put in what they want, what they're asking for. And you don't see it here because it's an old rundown, but in that MOS status column to the right, you're also going to see a not ready, and that means something needs to be attached to it. So if you see in that source column, it says clip after 45 seconds. Sometimes producers will put specific notes in there for you that you have to pay attention to. So clip after 45 seconds means they want content from that specific source after the 45-second mark. There might be something in the beginning that they don't want. So make sure you pay close attention to those special notes that they're writing in there for you. So the two main sources we get our content from are NBC News Channel and Oasis. So I'll show you how to go into NBC and get content from them. So it's NBCNewsChannel.com. You log in. If you don't have your login information, you can ask Tim. So what I'm doing here is you could see the videos that pop up here. If you need to search for a specific one, that's on your source column, just type it in like this. Click on the item you need. And then if you scroll to the bottom, you can download it. And then that should be going to your downloads folder. It's also possible it might go to the RVR under the NBC video folder, especially if your producer requests it instead. The other source we get content from is Oasis, and up here you could see the URL. Then you have to log in. Again, if you don't have a login, just ask Tim to grab you one. So what we're going to do here, normally your producer will request these videos. Hopefully, if they don't and you need to get it, this is how you're going to get it. A lot of Oasis things are from CNN. So if you click that CNN tab, like I did, you can search for, some keywords to find it. But let's say we need this one. On the top right, we're going to go to Actions, Request, and then we're going to request a location precis RVR. And then you would click on a highest NTSC format for each story and then request it. So now we want to open up EDIUS so we can actually get to the editing part. We're going to start a new project. And then we're going to click this preset and then open. Now, if your layout is a little wonky in the beginning, something you're not used to, or you want to change something, I recommend going to View. You'll do Window Layout and then Normal. And then it should set everything to the way it's supposed to be. So now we want to load videos into EDIUS so we can edit them. So in this top right bin, we're going to double click it. You're going to go to your RVR and then select what you want. So from here, you got from Oasis. That's going to be content your producer or you requested from Oasis, like CNN, or you got NBC VOD, and that's going to be your NBC video, unless you had yours go to the downloads folder. So now let's go ahead and go into the Oasis folder, and we're going to edit just some plain VO. So imagine the one I'm choosing, that's the code you see in your source column, so that's why I'm choosing this one. So I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm going to click and hold it and drag it down into my sequence. So that's how I got it down there. So for plain VOs, I recommend 45 seconds at least. All right, so I'm cutting it off around 45 seconds. You can see here, just drag it back to that point. Now I'm going to scroll through it to make sure there's no people that are being interviewed in it. I want plain VO, not someone being interviewed. Now to attach it, you're going to do F11 or F12, whatever it is for your computer, to attach. Then you're going to double click this precis attached. And then it's going to allow you to select a rundown. So for here I have 5 p.m. I click on the one I want, and then I click attach. So just a heads up, the green you see, that means something's already attached there. The black means nothing has been attached to that yet. So if you click on the green and click attach, which you can do, it's just going to ask you if you want to proceed because something already is attached to it. So we're going to go ahead and create a new sequence. So you click this button here, it's just going to create a new tab in the same project that you can work off of. So what you're going to do is, let's pretend we're going to edit a package now. I'm going to go to the NBC folder. You're going to compare in the source column what your producer wants to what you're looking for in these folders. So again, double click, drag, drop into your timeline right here. Now for packages and for plain SOTs, you want to make sure there's pad at the end of them. That's like some breathing room, at least 5 seconds or more, just so it just doesn't get cut off from that last out cue. You want some breathing room. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. One, you can grab some VO from either the beginning or middle of the package. So I'm just making sure both video and audio are highlighted, and then I'm going to click C on my keyboard to cut. That's a keyboard shortcut for EDIUS. And then just highlight the portion you want to drag to the end, right click, copy, and then go to the end and then just right click and then paste that in there. But I don't want the audio. So what I'm going to do is highlight both the video and the audio. Alt-G on your keyboard is going to ungroup those together. And then now I could just highlight the audio portion and click delete on my keyboard. And now you got some VO at the end without any audio. So that's one way to do it. So another thing you can do is slow down the end of a package. So what we're going to do is highlight both the video and audio channels, and just a couple seconds from the end, I'm going to click C on my keyboard to cut. And then I'm going to do the Alt-G to ungroup them. And then just on the video portion, I'm going to right click, go to time effect, speed, and then you can reduce that however much you want. I did 50, and then OK. That's going to slow down that end of the clip. Again, you just want to do this to the video portion. And we don't need this much pad, just at least 5 seconds, a little bit more. So you can cut it off. I cut it off what it looks like, maybe 10 seconds after or so. And there's some pad you can do as well. Another thing to note is you don't want to slow down the audio if the package ends on a SOT. We don't want to see their mouth and the voice slow down. So only if the package ends with some VO would I recommend slowing it down. So let's go ahead and edit a SOT-VO and a plain SOT. So your producer should tell you in the source column where they want you pulling the SOT from, and if it's in the middle of a package or they just want a certain length of it, they should write like the times that they want you to pull from. And it'll also be in the script on ENPS what the person is saying, so you can kind of compare that as well. So you are able to pull straight from a clip. After you double click it from the bin, you can cut an in and out from that top left box and then drag that down to your timeline. Now we want to add continued VO to this SOT-VO. Your producer should tell you where they want the continued VO from. It might be from the same package, it might be from an entirely new clip. But let's say it's from this package. I'm going to get all the VO from this package that I can, and I'm not going to include any talking heads, anybody being interviewed. So I'm going to drag that into the timeline, and then I'm going to highlight what I just added, and then I'm going to do Alt-G to ungroup those and then delete the audio channels, because after the guy is speaking, when he's done talking, I don't want to hear anything else because it's going to just end. So we just want straight VO after that. Okay, so now let's pretend that this is just supposed to be a plain SOT. Now remember, with plain SOTs and packages, we want to add pad to them, at least 5 seconds or more. We don't want them just to abruptly end. So I'm going to show you a cool way to do this. Go ahead and highlight the video and audio channels. Click on Alt-G on your keyboard to ungroup them. And then we're going to select just the video portion, copy that, and then paste it at the end of the clip. So if you can see here, it looks a little jumpy to just go from that to that. So you'll want to right click on that clip you added, do time effect, speed, and then you're going to hit backwards. And now you can see it's a lot smoother than before. And there you have pad at the end of your SOT. For the final part of this video, I'm going to show you how to edit a MUGVO or PICVO. Your producer will tell you in the source column where you can find it from. So I'm just going to go ahead and select my mug. I'm going to double click it, click, drag and drop it down into my timeline. Now I don't want those black things on the side of this mug. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. So I'm first going to drag it to about 45 seconds, the VO. Then I'm going to highlight it and copy it, and then I'm going to paste it in that second video line on the top. Now highlight the first one, the one on the bottom. You're going to click F7 on your keyboard to bring up this window so you can adjust it. I'm going to zoom that out using those little tiny squares on the side and click OK. Obviously that doesn't look great. So what we're going to do is go to this effect folder right here. Make sure this video filters line is selected. And here we can click on blur. So just drag that to that bottom video. And now what we're going to do is on this window over here that hopefully pops up, you'll double click on blur, and then you can adjust the level you want. I put it all the way up. You can see how blurry that is behind it. Now, if you don't have that window that came up so you can adjust the blur right here, what you're going to do is you're going to go on the top left of EDIUS, you're going to go to View, Palette, and then check the information line, and then that should then pop up after that. So sometimes your producer will want you to give some credit to some agency for the mug, and they should put that in the source column for you. So what we're going to do is click on this T, create title and new title track. So just go ahead and type in your source. So you can make it bigger, you could choose the style you want in that bottom, but normally you'll do source in all caps and then do a colon and then whatever your producer gives you. Obviously it's not all caps, but it should be. I normally put the source in the top left or right corner, so ticker on the bottom doesn't cover it, and then click this save icon right here. And then you'll want to stretch out that to cover up that whole 45 seconds worth of video.